How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. And it is mystery beer time. Mystery beers. This is the third in a series of 7 mystery beers I'm going to be doing. A friend of mine, Keith, gave me 7 cans of beer with labels over them, brown labels over them. I have no idea what's under these beers. I've done 2 already. Definitely wouldn't say I nailed them, but at the same time, don't think I butchered them too far. So we're kind of getting in the groove, kind of going a little bit opposite than what I would like beer-wise as far as styles. Usually when I do the beers, if I want to do a couple of night, I work smaller to larger. When you don't know what's on the label, you have no idea what's going on. It's kind of Russian roulette, so we definitely went hard and strong, fast out the chute. So hopefully this is something. Anyway, as far as what this one says in the can, 1 question mark. Each one has a little bit of a different question mark on there, so yeah. Let's dive into this sucker. Give it a pour, see what she's got. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, back to a stout. No, well, I was going to say back to a stout and then go, oops, I screwed up. This is dark beer. How do I know it's a stout? You know how I know it's fucking stout? Because it's pouring like fucking motor oil. So yeah, back to the dark beer. We went dark and then light, and we're back to dark here. Yeah, okay. Pinky finger, just under a pinky finger, just south of where I like my coffee to look like color-wise. Actually, probably exactly what I like my coffee to look like color-wise. Tight, compact bubbles, what is left there in the head. And that, my friends, is the darkness is. You should have never given that beer money. What you did to my legs, Charlie Murphy, this is dark as dark could possibly be. Yeah, straight up motor oil. So, yeah, it is a dark, dark beer. Give it a twirl there, kind of look. You get that kind of old school blue blockers kind of thing going on there. So, yeah. Oh, thank God this one came last. Anyway, at least last for tonight. Let's give this thing a nose. It's not that big of a nose. Even though I'm a little stuffed up. I'm not getting anything big there. I'm getting a semi-sweet chocolate. I am getting what I feel is a little bit of barreling going on there. I don't think it's anything too huge, but I am getting a subtle kind of barrel thing. If I'm not getting a barrel thing there, it's a super high ABV stout. I'm getting the kind of nose I typically get from like a Black Albert. Russian Imperial Stout that has no barreling at all, but it drinks like that. I'm getting a little bit of like dark cherry notes in there, a little bit of semi-sweet chocolate, sweetness, just like you're reducing down. You threw a little bit of like a bourbon, like a rich bourbon, and you put like some dark ripened cherries in there with a little bit of brown sugar, and even like some of the, like a molasses, like real molasses isn't all that sweet, and you kind of threw a little molasses in there and kind of reduced it down to where it just kind of like became this kind of thick amalgamation of heart-stopping goodness. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. The beer is really, unless the malts are driving the day in this one with the sweetness, I think most of the sweetness is coming from a barrel on here. And that's pretty much it. I'm not getting a ton of roasted malts. They're there, but they're very subtle. It's just sweetness. It's chocolate and very, very dark cherries and like a sweetness. I'm not getting any kind of barrel on here. It's just more like a bourbony kind of non-boozy kind of candied kind of sweetness. But while it's sweet, it's not overly sweet. Yeah. I mean, that smells dense. It just smells like when you actually huff it, you have to pull it in your nose. It doesn't actually waft in there on its own. So, yeah. This smells like a pretty big motherfucker. Let's just dive in and see what she's got. Cheers. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you there's a barrel involved. And now I'm going to tell you there's bourbon. And there's more barrel than bourbon. I'm getting sweet roastiness. I'm getting roasted from that roasted malts, but I'm getting this sweet kind of candy cherryness, and I'm getting these oak tannins, these dry kind of oakiness kind of across the tongue. Mouth feels Really nice. It has this super density while you're drinking it. When you go to swallow, it like almost like gets effervescent in the way that like a porter is, kind of where it has that fluffiness going on. There's that, but here's the thing: it's a lot. A lot of it's not beer. I think a lot of it is the barrel. Even though it's not boozy hot, it seems like this is something that was barreled in like a second use stout kind of barrel, to where you're getting like the hot booziness has been burned off, but you're still getting a barrel char. You're still getting like the roasted malts from the beer itself, but combined with that barrel char, and then you're getting like the sweet bourbony booziness from it, but without that much hotness from the barrel itself. Yeah. Yeah. This is a stout. Base stout. Bourbon barrels. Charred bourbon barrels. Second use. That's my fucking guess. Just put my deck out on the table there. I don't care if I'm fucking wrong. If I'm wrong, who gives a fuck? Just goes to show you how much fucking... I don't fucking know. And that's pretty much it. The mouth feels awesome. It's dense. It's got this, like I said, this porter effervescent kind of thing on the finish. And that's pretty much it. It's just the beer is kind of lost for me in it itself. Like for me, when I drink like the Black Alberts of the world, there's a little bit more pop or a little bit more residualness kind of sitting around, kind of be like, oh, here's the beer. This is, to me, just a bit of barreling, and then it kind of just dies with it. And it's a good beer. I like it. But for its ABV, I'm guessing this is anywhere from, I think this is like 13% alcohol. It just lacks a little bit of kind of oomph. So yeah, there you go. Let's dive in and see how fucking wrong I am. So I said this is a second use bourbon barreled stout that sat in a barrel for a bit, probably more than 6 months. Let's see if we can speed up this process here. This is the most exciting part of your day, isn't it? What'd you do last night? I watched the guy unwrap brown paper things from cans on YouTubes. Why'd you do that? I don't know. Because he acts like when he knows what he's talking about. But then he really didn't know what he was talking about, so... Yeah. I kind of have this weird feeling to guess all these beers, but... I'd be willing to bet I've never had this beer before in my life. Just based off of taste. So let's see what we have here. We have here... I have had this. Which is the funny part. I've had it when at a share. Smoke Screen and Oil Slicks. Other half. Smoke Screen and Oil Slicks. Smoked Imperial Stout. That maybe that barrel charriness. That's why I was getting that little bit of smokiness from there. Yeah, I was willing to bet this is barrel aged. I don't know if it is. On the bottom it says Spy Hunter, because it does the oil slick thing there. Yeah, I was willing to bet this was actually barreled. I wasn't getting any kind of like hot boozy like barrelness off it, but I was getting that kind of barrel char and a bit of kind of something a bit different. Now maybe the kind of smokiness did that for me. I don't know, or it could be barrel aged and I don't know, but by the look of it, I don't think it is. So yeah, just go back into it. Yeah, I mean, now that I read smokiness, I guess. I mean, I can get it on the back a little bit. It is 2 months old. I don't really think that plays too big into the beer itself. Definitely can see the smokiness on there. That's why I was getting that kind of second use barrel char kind of thing. I think that's what I was getting for the smokiness on this one. And that the actual, like, that's what I was tasting. If there was a little bit of smokiness in there, it was, okay, second use. It had a stout in it beforehand, and then it had a really charry kind of barrel to it. That is where the smokiness from this beer kind of landed for me. The barreling, again, that kind of lent it to me too. But yeah, kind of fun. I know the one other stout I did of this, I actually reviewed previously. Really curious to go back and watch that and see how different. I looked at the beers, even though there are two different beers from two different two different time frames. One was a bottle from a year and a half ago. This one was actually in a can. But yeah, I was willing to bet my left testicle this was in a barrel. I mean, like I said, I I don't know, second use barreled it a little bit because I didn't feel like there was a ton of booziness going on there, and charred it. And I keep repeating myself, but that's kind of where I feel like I ran awry on this one. But other than that, I mean, there's really not much to the beer. Like I said, there's that roasted kindness to it. But other than that, the beer itself, does it have an ABV on here? 11.5. Yeah, it is up there. I guess pushing 13. But yeah, fun beer. That kind of curious or kind of intrigued about how that smokiness kind of made me think barreling on it. But yeah, such is life. I would say that's my first miss for the mystery series so far, which is pretty fucking awesome because it just goes to show you how weird beer is when you actually don't know what the fuck's going on. So let's talk about it. Is it one of the better stouts I've had as of late? No. Just kind of like I said, it just lacked any kind of like oomph, any kind of calling card. I don't want to say oomph because I don't want it to be super impactful. It just kind of lacked a little bit of I don't know, identity for me. And like when I thought there was barreling involved, I thought the beer got lost in there. If that's the case, there's no barrel involved, then the beer didn't get lost. The beer was just underwhelming for me. Even though it's higher in ABV and that smokiness from actually like reading that now when you actually know the smokiness is there, doesn't lend too much to it. I mean, it's probably the biggest thing in there. But yeah, it's fun, but nothing too crazy. Value and availability, again, no idea its other half. So ask around. Down there in the internets and stuff, you can tell me what's what as far as how much it costs and how you had to get this beer. And just say, if you like what we like this. If you like bigger kind of Russian Imperial stouts, like I kept kind of talking about a Black Halibut kind of vibe. It had those kind of subtle vibes to it, but with that smokiness kind of lending itself to be almost like a barrel character in my mind. It's kind of fun. So if you want to know what a beer's like that can actually impart barrel character without actually being a barrel-aged beer, or if you're into like subtly smoked beers, or if you're into high ABV crushers that will actually get you super hammered without too much in your faceness, then you definitely like this. Other than that, there you go. Another review in the books. Another mystery review in the books. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did or you didn't or somewhere in between, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. If you want to check me out anywhere else on the internet, you can. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, Massive Beers, and all four of those places. And yeah, another review down. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice mystery beer right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.